Hi, Capricorn. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This is for Capricorn. We're going to look at the past 2 weeks and where we're and how we're affected by those energies in the here and now. What can we pull from those things that have happened in the last 2 weeks and use them to our highest good? Then we'll look at the incoming for the next 2 weeks and see what we can do in the here and now to prepare for those. So I'm not always getting little tidbits. I did get something for Sagittarius prior to that, and Capricorn I did, and I wasn't even, I got a little something. It was really kind of weird because I just started thinking about, I gotta adjust this. I was just thinking about some of the, just things up and about, and all of a sudden there was like this dialogue, and I was like, where is this coming from? Because I don't do any of these things anymore, and why is this coming up? And it says it's not about you, it's about Capricorn. So this is not for all, but it is for many, and even on a subconscious level. Okay, so you're not going to outwardly even want to admit that this is going on in your head. All right, this is going to be a challenge for Capricorn. Let's see how we go. All right, let's cut to it. So this is what I heard. Why are you worried about money? And one of the things that came is like, well, I'm not worried about money. Change your mindset. Change your inner dialogue. Change how you replay scenarios. And I think a lot of people can benefit from doing that. But when we do these changes, we are breaking the cycle of repeat. It manifests mountains to be moved. What is a hindrance to that are the emotional entanglements. These are the manifestation blocks. And I got kind of an image of, they look like Legos, and there are some deep tracks laid in. And this is the other thing, too, that came up. And I don't think this is a typical characteristic of Capricorn. That's why I thought it was kind of odd. But stop beating yourself up over the replay. And I think what it is it's because this is an indirect way that this is happening. What I believe is happening is that we end up replaying a scenario that we didn't like, or that made us uncomfortable, or didn't play out to our expectations. And when we replay that in a less positive light, that's our way, Capricorn, of self-deprecation. Because, you're very strong, you're very solid in your belief system, and be careful with that, because this is where the blocks are coming in. Because none of us has a full picture because of our filters and our limited insight. You may be very intuitive, but you also have limited insight like the rest of us. Wow, that was heavy. And, you take it or leave it, man. I'm just saying. So having said all of that, of course, this is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. It is timeless, even though we're going to look at the past 2 weeks and how it's affecting now and the next 2 weeks, and how we can use both the past and the future as to our highest good, right? Because ultimately, we remember the past and we plan for the future, but all we have ultimately is to live in the here and now. So for our highest good, we're asking for the clarity and information and guidance from the original source, the original thought, and the original word. Oftentimes those don't come through as something that we can maybe make sense of. It might be just a random feeling, or maybe some other information that we can't really put our fingers on. So we look to the Akash. We also ask for guidance through the Akash, because it is quite complex. And we ask for clarity and guidance from all benevolent energies, entities, and beings in all dimensions. I mean, how vast is that? I can see those coming through portals right now, just for Capricorn, because you are a very strong and beloved group. Wow. I mean, there's all kinds. Some of them don't even look human or even humanoid. Some of the things that, okay, plasmoid, just say it. Plasma, a lot of plasma coming through. Very intense, high functioning. All right, if I need more, which I will, because this is just the two just to start. Okay, so we have all of these elements, and it's the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is very skilled, very powerful. This may be how you view yourself, but it looks like it's really fuzzy. Whatever view you believe you have of yourself as a Hierophant, when you look back at it over the last 2 weeks, where you felt like you were the command or in command and knew what was going on, some things became fuzzy. It's like there is this energy that's not fully being utilized. It's there. Oh, beer. And there's been a shakeup. There's been a blowout. There has been, with, I think it was Sagittarius, that, it came through and I had pictures of dust ribbons of dust. And I don't see ribbons here, but it's like a cloud, and that's what's caused maybe some intuitive fog. I mean, everybody knows what brain fog is, right? But, we can move mountains. There was something about moving, didn't I say something about moving mountains? Yeah, manifest mountains moved. This is what we all have the ability to do, but I think Capricorn is closer, and it's not literally moving a mountain, but the mountain might be an attitude, maybe a situation that you're going through in your life. All right. Layout is changing, because I did say earlier that, how Capricorn is perceiving this concern or these challenges that we've had recently is not in the same way as most. We've moved away. We felt like we really needed to move away, and this is where that cloudiness came in. So again, this is Six of Air, right? So this is us shifting of what we perceived as a perilous, not necessarily dangerous, but not dangerous. It wasn't fear that moved us on. It's like, I don't feel like dealing with that stuff. I'm moving away, and you kind of look at that whole, I have no intention of being the bug. I'm definitely going to be the windshield. And if I don't move, I am going to, and it's not a literal move, it could be, but if I don't make a shift to change, because this whole thing is going on with this tower, I have the power within myself, but it was almost like the intuitive side of Capricorn was disengaged. Whew. There's been some really strong winds coming through. Some winds, change. And I think with the winds comes that new ideas, new perspectives, and there's been a lot of pushback, and I think this shifting, and it's been quick. This is something you're not going to be able to avoid, right? So we've got the Hierophant from the past. We are trying to elicit control. So the one thing I'm picking up with this right now is the light and the dark. People want to say they want to live in the light, but if you don't have that dark side of you under control, right? He's trying to go off that way. We are on the straight and narrow for this white horse, but you are in control of this. And the challenge for Capricorn is the integration of that light and dark. Because the dark is trying, and I don't even like using dark, it's the shadow. It's the shadow. It's not even shadow self. It could be something that is unpleasant, not fully, like I said, this has been cloudy, murky. And that's not necessarily going to go away. So we have to make that integrative part. I accept this situation, scenario, and I am the one in control, irrespective of outward appearances. You are still at the helm. New beginnings, and this is all emotional. Look at that pearl. That's like a cosmic egg right now. Somebody's got a hot rod. There's your hot rod for the Chariot. And it's going to start this new beginning, because this is the tearing down. This was the dismantling. This was the blowing the dust out of the corners. I have a very large, very hairy dog that is a prolific shedder. And I'm telling you, between vacuum times, I will have to go around and pick up the doggy tumbleweeds. I'm telling you, and it's that maintenance side of it. And we get that blast, that clearing. And I was like, oh crap, I wasn't ready for that. But the only reason you felt that way is because there was some murky business going on with your Hierophant self. And it's like you took flight. There's the wings there. You kind of took flight. It was not really premature, but what it did was erase your awareness of some of the things that were maybe you didn't realize you were insecure about. Because we all have those insecurities. And with this ace, this is a new exploration. Not to say you're not emotional, Capricorn. We all have emotions. Well, most of us do. But this is kind of like a reboot. And the treasure that we're wrapping ourselves around is really going to bring things to fruition. Oh my goodness. So this is where you're going to get your equanimity from, this justice. So this was a temporary move, right? And now that you've recalibrated and restructured, and you're starting over, but not totally abandoning the past, it's about justice and having that appropriate balance within yourself. And this self-talk thing, as far as manifesting, is going to be big right now. If you find you're saying the same things today as what you said, 5-10 years ago, that's the mind shift that's taking place. And because we didn't take those actions sooner, this is why this kind of happened, is because the mind shift is now, look, it's going to be shit or get off the pot kind of thing, right? But it is something to do with money, physical assets. We're going to get lit. Not with a substance. Page of Fire. It's going to, okay, so what I think this is to blow some embers. Blow on the embers of mystery that has been hiding in the corners of my mind, of your mind. That's what you're going to say. There's going to be corners of your mind you didn't even realize existed, and you're going, oh my gosh, I thought I healed from that, okay? You can talk about it, but you're very disconnected from it, but it's still attached. And that there's nothing wrong. It's like, it's acknowledging that it's there, having the remembrance of what happened, and shifting our mindset to this youthful embracing. I heard the word embracing, a youthful attitude. I've been fighting this sneeze for I don't know how long. I'm going to try and use Stone Hobbit's little thing. You put pressure on right on the inside, right close to your ear duct, and it works. A sip of water might help. Next. 5 of Cups. So what's gonna manifest we have to let go of the expectations. And this is, I'm seeing these cups as those Lego blocks. And the water is deep. And those, what did I call it? A deep track. So those deep tracks is our thought life that's hindering this. It's not really a lack, but we are perceiving it as a lack. Capricorn, there is no lack. You are abundance. We are all abundance. So this is about the mind shift. Yep. This is a reminder of, okay, so we're being made aware of what in the next 2 weeks, that in order for us to be not the victim, to not be the survivor, but that we have overcome before it has come. Whatever it is that's coming in for you that will cause you to try and go back on those other tracks, that's what needs to. So it's going to be something emotional, and it's going to be something that's related to either finances or earthly possessions. Could be any type of earthly asset, like a home or something like that. Physical home, if you have land, if you want it, it's the mindset. And that could be it too. You are the land, you are the asset. So let's see if we can't get clarity. What I do is I pick the card decks before, and then I'll get the little download, and then this is what happens. So I didn't know this was going to be financial, because these could be about relationships. It could even be relationships about our money, but this feels like it's about earthly possessions and worldly concepts even. And shifting your mindset to something that's going to be to your highest good. And we're always grateful for all of the input that we get from these absolutely stunning, benevolent energies, entities, beings. They're coming in from all over the place. I mean, I've seen on some of them where they kind of come through like a portal. All right, small increases, valuable information, honest assessment, fresh start. There's your fresh start. And a steady work career building. And even if you're retired, whatever it is that you do that gives you pleasure, that's what we're talking about. And it's this fresh start. It could even just be a fresh thought process. Not really a process, but and we're gonna have to kind of recheck this. One that wants to keep darting off up to the Six of Swords and taking off. But this is what's coming in for us, right? It's gonna be small at first, but I feel like it's gonna take off like nobody's business. Extra money, mature investment, celebration, retail, beauty, finish work, retirement. Wow. And, I know some people, they will retire a certain object, whether it's a car or, like my car is nothing special, but I have no intention of ever selling it just because it has some significance. So that's the kind of feeling that I get, that there are going to be some significant assets that you're going to retire, that you're going to put aside, that you're going to keep, you're going to take care of. It's almost like your retirement is retiring whatever that thing is. I kind of feel like that's why you see a lot of people when they do take that job retirement, and they're the ones with the pristine lawns, and you always see them outside pulling a weed here and there and clipping that one little piece of grass that got missed or grew up faster than the other ones. I don't know. You can tell that's not me. But that's kind of where this is all tying in with our thought life. This is going to be brilliant. So what other information can be helpful, please? Pulling in whatever information from here that's going to be useful and in the future. what's going to be useful for us. Sometimes I forget where I am in my little shuffling process because I do this shuffling process before and after each of the readings that I do, and I just kind of go with it. So these are runners of the sun. We'll see what comes up with these as far as getting this breakthrough. I think that we're kind of looking for this information that we need to change our mindset, get rid of these blocks, you know, and redirecting our thought life, I think, is something that's good advice for everybody. And it's breaking a cycle of repeat as well. So sometimes I say you might need to sequester yourself. This is not. You do not need to do this because that's this. So making sure that we do not, that we have this definite balance between taking it on the lam, you know, and standing your ground. And two, you know, if you are in a dangerous situation, by all means, hot-foot it, right? Hot-foot it out of there. If you feel you are in danger, because you can get to a safe place, then assess the situation. Yeah, so there's your self-care. And that isolation doesn't necessarily even taking that 5-10 minutes in the bathroom. Just saying. That's how you could. Me, I have to shut the door. The dog is always like on my heels anytime I get up. All right, anything else? One more. All right, this is for Sagittarius. Speak up. Speak your mind. This is taking command of your thought life. This is not just sticking up for yourself, but it's also doing it in a way that is non-confrontational. And I think that's the challenge. That's the challenge right now. And that's really hard for a lot of people to do. I know I struggle with that. I'm very, very quiet about things, but I'm also very passionate. And if I get caught on guard, I have to like really hold myself back. And it might look like I'm weak, or it's not so much. Yeah, because words can come out that shouldn't come out. I mean, we all do that, right? Words that are, I would just say, less than helpful to the other individual who is on the attack. So we try, but we don't always make it there, right? It is definitely a journey. It's definitely a journey, man. Oh, man. That's where the isolation comes in. Even if it's just 30 seconds, 2 or 3 deep breaths, do the 4 square thing, you know. That's an old dialectical behavior therapy thing. They do the 4 square breathing. All right, I'm told just put this aside. We're going to get a few more. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know how many times this card is going to come out. There's no place like home. And home is not a physical place. It's the essence of you. So your home is this, the home represented here looks like a house. But the home is actually your physical vessel. And it's suspended in this thing what we call reality. And what lights up the inside of the home and makes it functional and alive is your essence. Wow, that was kind of deep. Exchanging gifts. This is beautiful. Book. Okay, book. When they say book, it means I got to pull out the book because they want it to be very specific here. I'm getting a little parched already. Lovely deck by Colette Baron-Reid. I have several of her decks. This is her deck as well. And this is card number 27. It is the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-off, weighing costs, and determining value. Is this not a a physical, earthly, we don't have a lot of, do we have any coin? We have 5 of earth. And, you know, really, let's not bring attention to our weaknesses. That's the other thing, too. But there needs to be an equal exchange. You know, within ourselves, I don't even know if I could describe that. All your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, creating, and spending your time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe. So here's the deal. If what I got earlier is telling me that our thought life, Capricorn, is hindering our ability to manifest and that we are able to move those mental mountains and truly begin to manifest a seated, historically prominent, and legacy foundation, this is what's affecting it. Our intentions. And this is saying our intentions are being reciprocated by the universe. Let's be careful with that. That goes back to the whole idea of, you know, be careful what you wish for. And we don't even realize we're doing those wishings. So the universe is going to send you signs, signals, and aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success. As long as they are in your highest good, because that's not always what happens from our perspective. The universe is going to deliver on what we are focusing on, what our intentions on in our subconscious. So again, this is those blocks, those Legos, those deeply entrenched thought processes need to kind of be shifted a little bit. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. When goodwill comes, it will be coming back tenfold. So if your intentions are set and the outcome is not what you expect, that means there is something that needs to be shifted or adjusted. And it's really deep. It feels like it's right into your subconscious, and you might even have something that is like something implicit, something you don't see, something you have that you cannot see. That's what this might be, an implicit thought or idea. But it feels like you're going to move away from that. You're going to really take control and make that integration happen, right? That's what this was about. So this is a heads up that you're going to get what you wish for. Just be careful what you wish for, right? Okay. Because this is the never-ending story. This never-ending story, she looks like she's... Yeah, are you guys sitting there going, shenanigans? You know, you got this. This is all about this self-care down here. And this is part of that block, this tendency to even, you know, isolate. Don't isolate. You know, this is what we're being given a heads up on. And it is a never-ending story. I'm grateful for the never-ending story because... I'm telling you, I always hate it when movies come to an end. A lot of times I used to like stop a movie and just start it from the beginning again. I wouldn't even finish the movie out because I didn't want the movie to end. I wanted it to keep going because either I had unanswered questions or I had things that was like, oh, that's it? Oh, well, I'm going to go back and relive this part of the movie because that was more fun than the end. Just saying. I mean, everybody's got to be doing that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right, Capricorn, this is sacred geometry, all of it. So let's see what the universe can pull together for an overarching, tying everything up in a neat little package for us to move forward with. And I would ask that if you do like these, if you do resonate with these energies, you can stop the video and kind of dwell on it a little bit. The images of the sacred geometry. The one thing though is that if you do find this to be helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna just throw that out there right now because it's the foundation. It's your root chakra. Frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as in the physical world. And that's about this no place like home. No place like home. Getting that foundation. You know, we're going to have to really kind of make some of those mind shifts and move around those Lego blocks and fill in those trenches and the ditches and what did I call them? I can't remember. Tracks. They're just deep tracks. And we're going to do it from our heart. The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Again, we're talking about the physical and the etherical. One more. Throat chakra, we just move right up the scale, right? Throat chakra, the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. So, here's the balance. Justice, right? There's justice. We also have the peace. That is the no place like home. This is all of it. All of it. I hope this was helpful. Capricorn, again, please do like, share, and subscribe. I hope this was helpful to you, or maybe even pass it on to someone who you feel might benefit from this message. Thank you so much again, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye.